just put together an informal kind of chat session with the people behind the scenes. So myself, I am the owner and publisher of 55 Plus Life. It is, as many of you know, it's a lifestyle brand for people 50 through 65 plus in print and digital. And I'll do some introductions and then I'll let George take over. George Balogh is the owner of Blue Skies Travel.
Hello, everybody.
And also with us today, because we are doing this Tulip Time River Cruise in Holland and Belgium, we have Tim and Mandy on from the Globus family of brands, like it says in their backgrounds, but they are really hands-on people that are going to help us to make this all happen. So
Thank you for allowing us to join you today. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm excited. So I'm going to let George take over because, again, the purpose of this video is to try to keep it short and just talk a little bit more in depth. I know if you're seeing this, you're on the landing page and you can certainly peruse through and see the itinerary and get a general idea of what this trip is going to be about, because it is going to be, we're trying to keep it small and intimate with our group. That doesn't mean, there's going to be other people on the boat naturally, but all in, it's still what I think 160 people or something. So anyway, George, you take it over.
All right, well, cool. Thank you, Allison. All right, so my name is George. Obviously, hopefully I'll get to know you when we're on the cruise. Hopefully you join us. I own Blue Skies Travel in East Greenbush. Most people remember us because we're the temperature people. So if you don't remember where Blue Skies Travel is, but you drive in East Greenbush, you see the sign that says it's 83 in Antigua or something like that. That's us. So we have a great relationship with Globus and Avalon. So Globus is the parent company that has several brands, and Avalon River Cruises is their river cruise product in Europe. And this past summer, I escorted another group similar in the size that we're hoping here. So Allison, our goal here is 30 passengers, right?
Correct.
We're
Yep.
hoping?
Or 15 cabins, but the singles are welcome.
Yeah. So this past summer, I sailed on the Rhine using Avalon and their services and their ships, and they're one of my favorites. I really, really love their rooms and their French balconies. Even if you don't get one of the French balconies, their rooms downstairs are great, but their services and their tours and everything is just great. So I think it'll have the right atmosphere for a group of about 30 people. We'll be about 20% of the ship. And one of the things I want to highlight, Allison's never escorted a group like this. I've escorted several. That just because you're going with a group doesn't mean everyone's doing everything together. So you'll always be welcome to do things with some people, but if your goal is spend some time with us, but spend a lot of time on your own, that's great. But you can still take advantage of our savings and our promotions and having, in particular, having me on board because I tend to know people and I know how to travel. I can anticipate things when they happen and quick resolution. So I think that's great about having me with you. Allison will be our social host, right? Yeah. Find Allison at the bar or
happy hour.
We're taking pictures to post on social
Yeah.
media.
Exactly. So anyway, so that's who I am. I would love to have you on board with me. I've done this with several. I've done the Rhine now 3 times, twice with Avalon, and I've done some of the other rivers too. But I think this is going to be a fantastic itinerary. Allison, anything to add to that part of it?
No, I mean, I think before we have Tim talk a little bit more about about this trip, I did want to mention that we are doing some extra things here. Okay, so and George, feel free to chime in and at any time. But one of the things is, so for example, the dates, we're flying over on Good Friday. We happen to both be married to teachers, so like even if we wanted to come early, we can't. If we want them to join us. So
we want to stay married afterwards. Yeah,
exactly. So so one of the things we wanted to do is create some unique experiences just for our group. So that Saturday, the ship doesn't leave till Sunday. So if you come over early, which most likely you will, to join us, or some of you might even come over a couple of days before that to explore more of Amsterdam, because certainly there's plenty to see and do there. But one of the things we're going to do is we're going to put together a guided 90-hour, kind of like a
90
wine
minute?
and cheese sunset.
90
was it?
minutes. 90 minutes. You said 90 hours. That's a long time. 90 minutes.
Thank you. 90 hours would be a long time. We'd be sick of each
A lot
other,
of
throw each
cheese.
other overboard. A 90-minute, sunset kind of cruise on the canal that's right in front of the Hotel Sofitel. Again, the hotel information is on this landing page that I know you've all have taken a look at. And then on Sunday, the day that we actually leave, but we don't have to leave till 3, we're going to put together a guided 2-hour bike tour, because if you know anything about Amsterdam, I think there's more bikes than people. So how fun. And you don't need to be, Lance Armstrong. You could just subtly hop on your bike. Probably has a basket in the front. It's perfect. And the other thing we're going to do is a guided foodie tour. And again, these are just options. Like George said, you can decide you just want to hoof it around on your own and explore. That's great. It's just nice to have options so that, people in the group can say, hey, well, what are we going to do tomorrow? Or what are we going to do to maximize our time in Amsterdam? So.
Yeah, actually, Tim, if you scroll up just a little bit to the picture of the Sofitel with the ship right in front of it, that was an interesting picture because she was just talking about that one right there. That hotel is the Sofitel, which we planned to spend the night before. So I've stayed there multiple times. But that ship right there is one that canal cruise is one that we had the Sofitel arrange for us last summer. So we'll do the same thing. It'll fit our entire group, and it'll have a great captain, and they'll narrate as we go through the canals.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to welcoming you both and your whole group. It's been a pleasure working with you, George, for many years. It's a pleasure working the first time in my new role position here. Very excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thanks for helping us out with this. Okay, so we're going to get back on. So let's just look at the itinerary for a second, right? So obviously we're going to do at least the one night at the Sofitel, and everybody can go early if they want. Tim, you want to just highlight this briefly, like what this map looks like?
Sure. So you see you have each night in a different port. Day 2 in Rotterdam, where you can go up to Keenhof to visit the flowers and all the tulips up there. Then in day 3 in Antwerp, day 4 in Kent, day 5 in Middelburg, day 6 in Willemstad, and then returning back to Amsterdam. So it's going to be a fantastic tour, visiting different sites. We can do different tours each day, which another thing we spoke about prior to is that with Avalon Waterways, the tours that you are booked are included in the price. So they're not additional that are being paid on top of your the total price.
Yeah, and they're actually really good. And I love the choices. So it'll be great.
Yeah, choices are great. I think people really are going to welcome that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And it's nice that we have the active in the classic, the different kinds of versions of excursions to do as well.
Yeah, I do know we're going to have different people. Some of the ones I know coming on this, some are not the most mobile, right? I mean, as they get older, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know which days their knees are going to ache and whatnot. So that's perfect for the classic tour.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's active or passive as you'd like. If you need to spend a day in your cabin on the ship, you're welcome to do so.
Yep. Perfect. And this will not be a warm cruise. This will be sweater weather and maybe a rain parka kind of thing, right? But
right, it's going to be typical spring weather, so we will have to advise people on what to bring.
Yep.
But it will be gorgeous, that's for certain.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of weather is great for walking around too, which is nice,
Yep. So on the landing page has a lot of this information, so we don't want to spend a ton of time going through it. And obviously, when you're ready to get more details, I will help people decide which types of cabins they want and how many days in advance, etc. We did want to talk briefly about the idea of flights are just coming out now for this time period. So Tim, does Avalon, or can you just speak real quick about Avalon's air program and their air department?
Certainly, yeah, the benefits are, as mentioned, is one-stop shopping. So we're booking the air, cruise, as mentioned, the tours, transfers to and from airport to port. That's really all encompassed in that one price.
Yep. And we'll be able to even modify the dates for people if they want to extend and go early or late.
That's the benefit of having our Globus brand as well. Globus does the land side, whereas Avalon Waterways, of course, the river cruise. But we can add on optional days before and or after the cruise, so they can take in more time in Amsterdam or other nearby cities.
Yep. Okay, perfect. So we have a really great group contract for this, right? With a really deep discount. It's $1,000 off per person, as well as some other perks and free prepaid gratuities.
That's right. Because of the relationship that we have that Avalon Waterways has with Blue Sky Travel and with George, we're able to secure some fantastic savings for all your guests. So one thing, a point of clarification, if you do see the savings of $599 off, that's not applicable because we've actually saved $1,000 off the package.
Right, right. So looking at the cruise rates on the website, a lot of people love going to avalon.com and avalonwaterways.com, right? You know, but when you see it, those aren't actually real. They're not our prices because of our group contract. So, but they'll give you a good gauge, a good guide.
That's correct. That would be if somebody were to be booking something on their own as not part of a group. So it'd be a savings off the full price, which we already have a significant savings off that lead-in price because of the group contract.
Yep. Perfect. Thank you.
But on
Okay.
top of that, just for viewing today's podcast, we want to be able to offer $50 per person, $100 off per couple with a 2-week booking window. So book from May 15th through Friday, May 26th, and receive that additional discount off the already very inexpensive group rate that we secured for you.
Yep, that'll be great. On the landing page, we did put like a range for people that this is something like an
We did,
$8,000.
if you scroll.
You know, it's really hard right there, right? People are going to want different types of rooms, right? Some people are just going to be, they don't care. They want the inexpensive room with a window. Some are going to want the French balconies. Some are going to want nicer, you know, better airfare, like a premium economy or something. In general, we're thinking this is an $8,000 to $12,000 trip per couple. You know, of course, if somebody wants a suite, it could be higher than that.
And George, and for a single, it would be, we could assume roughly 4 to 6, correct?
No, because a single doesn't get the same. The single probably instead of 4 to 6 will probably be 5 to 7 or something, because the single, there's no single, the single supplement is waived. They still don't get one of the discounts, and so it's still a little bit higher.
Okay, so it's between 5 to 7, depending on, it's always variable with the different, you know, with the rooms, how long you're gonna stay, you know.
Fly out of Albany, fly out of New York.
Exactly. Okay.
Right? But in general, right, this is not a $3,000 trip. This is a $8,000 to $12,000 trip, you know. But that's why you call us and you and I chat.
Exactly.
And discuss what you're, you know, what you're looking for. Right.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
Very good.
All right. So we covered the cruise itinerary, and the excursions are included. Gratuities on board the ship are included. I think you're still expected to do gratuities.
Prepaid gratuities.
Right. I still think
Andy,
prepaid
can you address that?
guides are good.
I actually thought also that to let people know that the happy hour, you know, the hour happy hour, because people are, you all are going to want to know, is alcohol included, beer, wine, liquor, and that's a, you know, important question, because some people like to have beverages on their trips.
Yeah.
In addition to the happy hour, yeah, beer and wine is included at lunch and dinner. And I know some of my counterparts that have cruised here, they say, you know, not like the ocean cruises where you have this hundreds and hundreds of dollar bar bill at the end. Sometimes you walk off and it's $5 to $10, $12, and that's it, because everything else is included each day.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, great.
When I hosted my group last year, it was a group of my friends, and we're all in our 50s, and we talked the game like we're gonna drink a lot, we're gonna have a great, you know, and everybody's bill was like $120, and they drank pretty good. But between having some drinks in the cute pubs and bars in town, a few people went to vineyards or whatever and brought some wine on board, and the cruise line was fine to let us bring some wine on board if we wanted. And the drinks weren't all that expensive to begin with. My Maker's Mark Old Fashioned was $9. And I think $9 for Maker's Mark is usually 15 here. So anyway, yeah, I think the prices of the drinks are reasonable and good. So
Okay,
all
great.
right. So Right, we have our promotion for 2 weeks, and the goal here was to give you an idea of some of these things. You're free to do as much as you want on your own, and you're free to join us as often as you want. And the part that's important is that we're all doing the cruise together. I typically think we're gonna do the Sofitel together, but maybe not. And people are gonna fly together or separate. We're gonna look at flights out of New York that we're gonna go on nonstop. But if you want to go out of Albany, I'll arrange it. That's what you talked to me
And
for.
Boston or
And
Boston. Yeah.
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 Yep. But
I'm sure
anyway,
you're all gonna have a wonderful time. You know, we didn't go into as much detail as you mentioned because we're keeping it short and sweet, but keep in mind, of course, the panorama suites are really a game changer for us, having be able to open up 7 foot, it's 11 feet total, but 7 foot of open space. So you're not losing any space in your cabins. We're one of the largest size cabins in the industry, and the bed facing the window is really amazing for your clients. You're all gonna have a wonderful time. I'm envious of you, actually.
what I love about that picture that's on our screen right now is that bed. It's hard to tell, but you can tell, but you think it's just a camera. It's angled. The wall where the headboard is angled, and the bed faces the wall. But that means the bathroom that's on the other side of that headboard, the bathroom is not rectangular, and that wall is slanted, giving you a bigger bathroom. By cruise ship standards, that bathroom is really spacious and very comfortable. So it's one of my reasons I love Avalon, not just the bathroom, although it is,
Yes.
but the whole setup of this room and the space and being able to wake up and look out the window.
Yeah, that is priceless right there. That's the money. I mean, you know.
Yep.
So I think that's it. I think we did a really great job at just explaining a little bit, you know, in more detail. And we hope that you decide to join us, because this is going to be a really fun experience and opportunity. And we're going to be creating some memories. So
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you again for allowing us
for
to join
joining
you.
us.